And we're live.
Sweet. All right. Green light.
Green light.
All right. Welcome to episode 139. This episode 2, we talk about K-pop protect. Oh, dang it. I jumped my own headline.
You can start over.
Welcome to episode 139. This episode 2, we talk about K protects its pop, Selena returns, and Anton meets the low five. I'm Alan Flores.
And I'm Anton DeWong.
There you go. It just took 2 tries.
Yeah.
I tried to separate K-pop and then I just read it as one thing.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. So my question to you, Anton, now that the second wave is happening, have you been seeing more people
What
around
second
you
wave?
getting of COVID? You know, that pandemic, that
yeah.
that small,
well, here in
small
Florida,
story?
we don't know anything about that because we don't have any lockdowns. We only have one lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it is a Trump state here in Florida, so we don't really have any second lockdown yet.
yeah,
But I know in California, the lockdown has been pretty intense this time around because a lot of people are taking it very, very highly of, especially small businesses. You know, they don't have enough funding for the small businesses. So it's going to take them out of business.
Yeah. Actually, starting tonight, a new lockdown has started. The safer at home, safe at home. I think it's safe at home, which is pretty much as restricted as the original one was back in March. Pretty much everything closes, no going out, unless I think grocery stores are allowed to open, but for limited capacity, essential businesses.
Yeah.
But I asked because Thanksgiving, Martha's dad was feeling a little under the weather, and
no.
we're like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just cold." I'm like, "All right, fine." And then the family's still kind of concerned, but he's like, "All right, you know what? He's fine, whatever." Uh, Finally, he was getting a high fever on Sunday, so they kind of forced him to go get a test to make sure. Um, he said it came back negative. I'm like, okay, well, like
Did he
maybe
do
it
a
is just a
rapid
cold.
test or did he do like
Yeah, rapid test.
Okay.
Rapid test.
Rapid test is not very accurate, by the way.
Well, so, yeah, the next day or the next morning, he apparently got an email saying he needs to get retested. Later that day, Martha's mom lost her sense of smell.
Oh crap!
Yeah, right away because they even did a test. They sprayed perfume on her arm. Martha and her brother can smell it from across the room. Martha's mom cannot smell it at all.
That's crazy because I don't know how it is with like family members. Do you spread it very easily because you're so close to them, or is it?
I mean, it is a risk because you're around them, you're talking to stuff like that. So right away, like as soon as that happened, they took her to get a rapid test, and it came back positive. Considering that she doesn't go out at all, like she's the only one in the household that really just stays at home, rarely goes out. Maybe she'll go out once every 2 weeks, whatever, just to the store. We're fairly certain her dad tested not tested positive, but we think he got an inconclusive result. And he took that as negative. So Tuesday, I found that out Tuesday, and that's like what I told you, right when I told you I'm gonna start reading the book right now, try to finish the book right now. Moments after I said that, yeah, Martha called me upset, told me what happened, and then after we found that it was positive, we started kind of researching, like, well, not researching, but we started, planning out how we were going to handle this. Luckily, they have a spare room in the back. Like in the backyard, they have like a separate room that was intended to be an office, so the mom can stay there. The dad is staying quarantined in his room because even though they both have COVID, the dad seems to be more severe, but not like life-threatening. So we don't want her to get further exposed. And then me and Martha coordinated through our doctors the test. And I just texted you the results that I got on Thursday morning.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Did you
so
do the rapid test as well?
no, I did the regular test.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, Kaiser, just they were telling me 3 to 5 days to find the results.
Hmm.
Um,
That's the more
they
accurate one right now.
Yeah, and it made me feel better. They didn't just do the nose, the brain picker,
Hmm.
or the brain stabber. They also did like the it threw me off because she's like, all right, open your mouth. I'm like, why? She goes, I'm gonna swallow the back of your throat. I'm like, in my head, I'm all, what? I always felt like it was a nostril. So she did like the left side of my throat, then the right side of my throat. And then she says, okay, now the nose, same Q-tip. I'm like, oh, that's kind of gross, but at the same time, I don't know why it's gross.
It's you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's the same freaking tunnel. Like, it's, I don't know. Mentally, it's weird, but
Hmm.
it makes sense though.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine came back negative. Martha
As long
and
as
her
it's not
brothers.
through the from nose first and then your mouth. That would be
I
weird.
know. That's what I think. I'm like, okay,
That would
definitely
be
did it
weird.
that way. Yeah. So Martha and her brother, they both tested negative. So really, it's just about taking care of the parents.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, dude, that was a scary couple of days there, and like that's, it's frustrating. And then as I was telling my coworker the day on Wednesday what happened, um, she was kind of teasing me about like, oh, like because I was kind of scared about the nose picking because I'm like, what if I sneeze? What if I'm not scared it's gonna hurt. I'm just scared how uncomfortable it's gonna be. And like, what if I sneeze and all of a sudden like the employees freak out like, oh no, mass contamination, mass contamination. um,
That's the
so
best way to let everybody know that you have it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so later as I'm waiting for the test, or I was like, it's kind of cool the way to set it up. Uh, it's very efficient. I was kind of like, you know what? I'm happy if I had to get tested. I'm happy I'm getting tested now because uh, they figured out how they want the traffic to flow. They
Hmm.
have 2 lanes going, 3 cars at a time getting tested. It's
Hmm.
very efficient. It's a long ass line, but it's efficient.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, they've been doing it for so long, so they should
yeah,
be
exactly. Yeah.
good at this point.
Exactly. They, they
Yeah.
they have the rhythm down.
Hmm.
Like there's like a little ramp going down. It's like they converted their part of their parking structure into the COVID testing.
Hmm.
So as you're waiting in line to go down the ramp, they take your Kaiser information, they take all that. So by the time that you are up next in line, they already have everything filled out. They have your test tubes labeled, everything. They just have you know, they just test you and move you on your way.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so as I got home, and then my coworker said like, "Oh, how was it?" I'm like, "Oh, it was good." I'm like, "That's good." I'm like, I had them all. I mean, I'm close to her, but I'm like, "Huh, nice of her to follow up," and I just wait until the next morning. Turns out her mother tested positive.
Oh no.
Dude, this week
Yeah.
at least 3 people that I know got exposed in some
See,
way.
that's the thing about like Turkey Day. A lot of family
Yeah,
members who don't see each other for a very long time
yeah,
get together. So
yeah,
it's not a big surprise to a lot of people. And I don't think you were surprised because there's so many people gathering for
yeah.
that week in
Well, the thing
general.
is, for Turkey Day, it was only 4 of us, 6 of us, 2 kids,
Hmm.
and I was the only outsider.
Hmm.
So in my head, I'm kind of like, I'm happy I'm not the one exposed to
Man,
family.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I was at a Turkey Day party,
Yeah,
and there was way too many people there. There's at least 30, but
mhm,
there's no one in the state that is saying that you can't do this. So in
yeah.
California, I mean the numbers are
Uh,
rising exponentially. So
so funny thing. So when I found out Tuesday,
hmm,
my first thought was, oh, I need to tell my brother because my brother comes over on Tuesdays
yeah,
to do laundry.
hmm,
And there's sometimes when I'll go out to get something to eat. When I come back, my brother and my sister-in-law are in my room watching TV.
hmm,
So I want to make sure they don't just, walk into my room,
hmm.
like not knowing
Hey,
what they're
what's
walking into.
happening? Uh,
No, no, get away! I don't do this as often, brother, but give me a hug. No.
yeah.
um, yeah. So I let him know, and guess where he was? What him and his wife were doing.
What?
When I told him
Where?
downtown Disney,
Oh
they were
man.
the, his wife's cousin,
Hmm.
two cousins, or what? Some out of state family was visiting, and they were just playing tour guide, taking them to downtown Disney, and I.
Well, at
My
least
brother,
the
like,
thing about downtown Disney is they do,
oh,
checks and everything. So
they do
that's.
checks, and he was telling me they are so
Mhm.
strict. Like my sister-in-law, I guess, like she she lowered her mask to take a bite of her hot dog or ice cream, whatever it was, and right away security came up to her saying you have to put the mask back on, and she goes, but I just want to eat the mask back on. Like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't mess with
Disney's
Disney.
on their game, dude.
Disney will
They're
make you
on it.
disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney will make you disappear. Like
Yeah.
you'll get pulled into the shadows, and all of a sudden you're in the parking lot going, wait, how am I in front of my car? Where am I? They have secret
It's
tunnels
like
everywhere, man.
it's like a Disney Men in Black, basically. There's agents everywhere. You just don't know it. They're like
It's like
hiding in the snacks and
it's like those
everything.
cheesy like ninja movies. They
Yeah.
just pop out, smoke,
Yeah.
smoke
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you don't
Uh,
you don't even know where you are. Like you said,
yeah,
in front of your car, you don't even know it.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. So luckily, her dad is recovering. He still has a cough, but like the worst of his symptoms are going away.
Hmm.
And her mom isn't really getting severe symptoms. Knock on wood. Her sense of smell came back the next day.
Hmm.
So really, right now she's just
Brian
right.
Cranston said that he still doesn't have his smell back
Mhm.
yet, and it's been a
That's
long time.
yeah. That's what I've read. That it could take up to 3 to 6 months
That's
to
crazy.
regain your some of your senses. Yeah, that's bad. So I told her, I'm like, that's amazing. Like that's that she lost her sense of taste or sense of smell, and like but the next day she got it back when others are taking forever.
Hmm.
Same thing with like the cough. That cough can linger for months.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this real quick. You probably read
Okay.
a lot about it because you're more of a science guy.
But I'm not Bill
So,
Nye.
so the vaccines itself, right? This
Yes.
time around, it is uh, RNA.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one of the first times they've ever done a vaccine of mass production with this
Mm-hmm.
type of formula.
Yeah.
They've always done, just regular vaccines with like, different types of synthetic medicine or something like that. But this
Mm-hmm.
time around, this is something that can alter your DNA, basically.
Not alter your DNA, but I think it your body can absorb it better or
Yeah.
process it better.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm not exactly sure how it works,
Hmm.
but for people who don't know what RNA is, it is another set of DNA that you have.
Hmm.
There's in your cell you have your DNA, but one of the organelles within that cell is the RNA molecule or RNA organelle. Um, and it is just another set of DNA. It does nothing. Um, the From what I remember in biology, it's uh, a lot of theories about where it came from. Others saying like it's just a virus that infected our ancestors a long time ago, and it just stuck with us.
Hmm.
Um, and it's been useful in ancestry research because the RNA never changes.
Yeah,
If
and
it does change, it changes very, very minimal through
mhm.
generations.
It's just
So
like a survival of the fittest and how you evolve over time, basically, as a
yeah,
person, human being.
well,
Um, but
that's the thing. So
what do you think
with the
about
RNA,
like? Because I know a lot of people have been biohacking and
oh
using those injections with the
yeah,
RNA and stuff like that.
the
Yeah,
CRISPR stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That is another reason why a lot of biologists and biotech, anything that has to do with studying live creatures or life in general, freak out at that because it makes it easier for us to create vaccines and it makes it easier for us to um, break down different types of pathogens or cancers for us to understand it better, and hopefully try to use. In this case, it seems like they probably they changed the DNA of the COVID virus,
Hmm.
to make a vaccine out of it. Um, but in the wrong hands, or in poorly controlled hands, you can, you know, what a dirty bomb is to the nuclear bomb that was dropped over Hiroshima. Somebody could, a terrorist group can make a bio weapon out of the smallpox, um, out of a plague sample,
Hmm.
just by tweaking it a little bit and putting in something that makes it more rigid. That's one reason why people thought that COVID was, um, man created by humans, because the way it behaved, it was too perfect to spread.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a virus that could not show symptoms for up to 14 days, and you have at least a week's worth of time that you're contaminating people,
Yeah. So
and
it's
that's
crazy because, like, making this vaccine with RNA properties, I think that, it brings up a whole different spectrum of, what's to come in the future when it comes to
yeah.
more vaccines, or if other people are going to be doing more stuff with RNA, because, we've seen so many things that people abuse. They're
Hmm.
trying to make their body, like a super mutated human.
Hmm.
Let's say you cut your finger, you want to grow your finger back, so you take, some of the DNA from,
Well, it's
whatever
uh,
creature and create a RNA sample. You know.
well, yeah, not just that, but it's being used by, well, kind of what the experiments that Russia, and we suspect the United States, was doing back in the Cold War, was trying to create a super soldier.
Mm-hmm.
If you and to extend to that, even like to a moderate version of that,
Mm-hmm.
parents being able to control what type of kid they want to have. If you want, you want dimples to
Blue
show up,
eyes.
you want curly hair,
Yeah.
yeah, blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You can tailor that. If they're already doing, say, IVF treatment, where everything is being done outside of the womb, they can just inject the DNA, the traits that they want, the way they want it. And I think they call it, uh not catalog babies. I forgot what it was, like made to order babies or something like that. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
what it was, but yeah, like that's the thing though. Like, what are we screwing up by doing that? Like, on the face, it looks like, oh, that's great. You can take out the
If
deformities that can cause,
yeah.
that can cause certain, like Down syndrome. You can take out certain things that can cause the baby harm.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're trying to weed out certain things, what are we inadvertently causing down the road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the
Hmm.
thing about, playing God. You can't really
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
very much
Yeah,
so.
it kind of gives a big, argument there between that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So to wrap things up, for this segment, it's basically, for me, I think this is going to be a start of something new. We've never really done this territory of making vaccines super fast, and the only way we can do it super fast is by doing the RNA style.
Well, that, and also it shows you how much bureaucracy there is in the
Mhm.
FDA.
Yeah.
Because there's certain vaccines or medicines that are out there
Yeah.
that I've heard can last 3 years pending FDA approval. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just sitting in a filing cabinet
Mm-hmm.
until they get to it, or they get funding for it.
Yeah. This one they need now. Look how many
Oh no.
people have died from it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's good that we have this. That's all I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
This is
Uh,
all gonna end soon.
so so I made two notes, and I'll try to wrap up for this. So,
Mm-hmm.
first one, and I called this one back in the summer. Uh, a Hawaii couple that knew they had COVID before flying, they still boarded a flight anyways and were arrested immediately after landing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I called, and I think to the next step I said would happen was, if somebody does get sick or dies, because of well, I guess, misbehavior,
Mm-hmm.
negligence, that they can get sued. I'm just waiting for that next step. But I predicted this one. And the other thing that's kind of cool is George W. Bush, Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama have all volunteered to take the vaccine to prove that it's safe.
That's kind of cool of them. They're kind of
Publicly
throwing
take
it
the
out there.
vaccines. Yeah, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through the comments. I was waiting to see like, oh, I want to see people try to call out Trump or whatever. I'm like, at the same time, you can't though because he's already caught it. He already has
Mm-hmm.
the antibodies, so I'm pretty sure he can use that. The other thing too is, as much as people like seeing the leadership or people in power take the vaccine instead of using lower class people or the 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 plebes take the vaccine first,
Mm-hmm.
is it looks bad. It kind of looks like, oh, the rich and powerful want the vaccine first before the poor and the unprivileged. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Yeah, look at them. They're all broing out. You're right. All right, Anton. That's all I had for COVID. I know this is a story that people hate, that are starting to hate more and more. But I figured once the second wave was coming, it seems to be hitting closer to home this time around.
Yeah.
Uh, it,
Dude, it's like two back to back, two holidays. So, I don't know how the whole Christmas thing's going to go. I think
yeah.
mostly if people have, experiences like you, how you have more people that that's infected, probably during the holidays, they'll stay home and just accept their presents through the mail or something.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's the only way to do it.
I mean, kind of what I've been doing for you for like your birthday and Christmas is just
Hmm.
Amazon it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, it's not gift wrap, but you got it.
Hey, that's all that matters, dude. It's in the box. You
Yeah,
open
it's
it.
there.
So,
I picked it out for you. Got
hmm
delivered.
yeah. So,
All right, that's all.
real quick, this is still part of the week update.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so Julie and I, my wife and I, have joined.
pregnant.
No, we have joined the Peloton family.
Oh God, wait. The bike?
Yeah, the bike.
Okay. Don't they have a
Yeah,
treadmill too now? Something like that?
yeah, they have a treadmill also. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we went with the bike because it was easy to
Yeah.
maintain, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We ordered it about three, sorry, 3 weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and they finally delivered it last. I think it was like
Mhm.
Wednesday or Thursday.
I
Yeah.
mean, still probably shorter wait than you would have if you ordered it back in the summer or in the
Hmm.
springtime because they were sold out for a while.
Yeah. So if you were to buy the Bike Plus, which is their newest bike,
Hmm.
uh, you would have to wait at least over a month.
Yeah.
The bike that we bought is the original version of the bike. The only
Base
difference
model.
is they have automatic resistance adjustment. So let's say you take the
Oh,
class,
based on the
right?
class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
based on the class, if they're changing the resistance, it changes it automatically. But this one,
Hmm.
because it's a classic one, you have to manually turn it, and it's not that hard to turn. It's right
No, it's
there.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
and really, I think that's more um discipline because I think the people
exactly.
the people that aren't disciplined, they kind of cheat themselves. That they probably need the other one.
Hmm.
How much is the membership? Because I know it's per
The
month.
membership isn't that bad. It's probably about $30 a month. But
Is
we
there?
have a family account, so
Yeah.
it's yeah, two of us. Yeah, but overall, I mean, the bike itself, it is expensive, but the quality of everything that you get from Peloton, they
Hmm.
make really good products. They have a
Well, I
really
mean,
good team of educators. They have
hmm
some of the best technical service. Like these are personal Peloton guys that would come and bring the bike to you and install it for you.
hmm
And if there's anything wrong with it within the first year, if you bought the warranty or the extended warranty, they still come and fix it or whatever.
yeah,
Um, yeah, these guys do a really good job. And yeah, everything so far, I feel like it's top notch quality. And I think that's
yeah.
why they're so good at what they do.
The the Apple of workout equipment.
Yeah.
Um, so how many accounts per for the family? Four?
I think the one that we bought, I think you can have up to 4, but you would have to buy like the extra shoes and all that stuff. The one that we bought, it comes with 2 sets of everything.
I did hear that I don't know if you have to pay extra or if they just send you like a monthly T-shirt or something. I don't know how it was.
Hmm.
But it's just to promote themselves. Like, okay, if they include it in the membership, I think that's smart because really,
Hmm.
if they mass produce shirts, probably like what, $2 a shirt, $5 a
Hmm.
shirt.
Hmm.
That's fine. Just include that membership. Um, no, that's cool. I mean, it's not. I mean, it sounds pricey, but I mean, if you think the price of a membership for a gym
Hmm.
for 2 people,
It
yeah, it's a
pays
deal.
itself over 5 years.
I'll talk to you when Elias is 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's good too, especially right now with you know, limited venue. Well, even if COVID wasn't a thing, you guys being new parents, I'm sure going out isn't a frequent thing anymore.
No, that's the only reason why I pulled the trigger for Peloton, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people pulled the trigger because of that. They either they can't go anywhere, they don't want to go anywhere, but they want to work out. This is the only
Yeah.
choice. I mean, you can get a treadmill and stuff like that. I was looking to, into other um, programs too besides Peloton. Like the
Hmm.
Schwinn bikes are really good. But they still say that Peloton always wins if you were to compare the two. I mean, they're both
Yeah.
very superior products.
Well, and that's also the
Yeah,
personalization of like the workouts, different,
yeah,
the classes available, and
hmm,
there's a like a social aspect to it, right? You can
hmm,
kind of compete with friends and family that have Peloton too.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
all right,
All right, that's
let's get into the
ready to get into the
show, dude.
headline news.
Yep.
All right, headline news here. First one starting here. BTS Saved. South Korea has changed its law to postpone military service. Military conscript services can now be postponed until age 30 to protect not protect, but will protect K-pop stars like BTS.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Because most of the pop stars that are in their prime usually have to go and serve in the army when you're in South
Mm-hmm.
Korea. Um, that's one of the things that was very controversial back in the days. In the early 2000s, there was this really famous K-pop star. His name is Steve Yoon. Steve Yoon. Um, Steve Yu. Sorry,
Oh.
YOO. Steve Yu.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this guy is he got so popular that they made him go and serve in the army. But the thing is that he has dual citizenship. He lives in California,
Uh.
but
Uh.
he went to Korea because he wanted to make a career out of himself. And because
Mm-hmm.
he was there, they said, "Hey, you have a lot of Korean pride. You've done a lot. You've inspired a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're one of us. You should serve your time in South Korea."
Mm-hmm.
And he would be like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that when the time's
Sure,
right."
buddy.
Yeah. So when it came to a couple years later, when he was at the peak of his career,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Yeah, it's that you're at that age. You got to go now, or else you're that's it." So
Mm-hmm.
what does he do? He goes back to
Fails.
California and just stays there. So it's very controversial, this whole thing, and it kind of sucks for a lot of stars too when they know that they can do so much more in their prime years as K-pop artists. They
Yeah.
end up going there, so they can't really do anything. They can't avoid it. But
Mm-hmm.
for them to adjust this and put it a little later, it makes a lot more sense for a lot of these stars because a lot of them when they come back from the army, there's so many
That's
new
same.
artists already, so it kind of
Yeah.
hurts them in a way.
Well, the pop world it moves so fast. I think like 6 months and the whole trend can be switch can totally shift to something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I forgot that South Korea had mandatory military service for its citizens.
Hmm.
I really just knew of Israel. Israel had a required military service.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, yeah, I get it. Like South Korea has limited population, and they still need a military force.
Hmm.
Um, especially because they're having like that Cold War with North Korea.
Yeah,
Uh,
right there, dude. It's
yeah, that
crazy how close
ceasefire.
they
I'm sorry,
are.
they have a
Hmm.
current ceasefire, so they're technically still at war.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And really, at age 30, you have plenty of time. I think by that point, the K-pop stars will either have a full career or they realize, oh, it's over. All right, well, let's just knock out this military service then.
Hmm. It's only men.
Yeah.
They don't do
Speaking of,
it for women.
oh yeah, no, for Israel,
Hmm.
women too. The women have to.
Yeah.
God could not. All right.
Hmm.
Speaking of service, emotional support animals. Uh, U.S. ruling officially bans emotional support animals, uh, from airplanes. Only service dogs will be permitted on planes, and only with proper paperwork that has to be submitted in advance of a flight. This
That makes so
story
much
has
more
been a
sense,
long.
dude.
This
That
has been
makes
a
so
long
much more
time
sense.
coming.
Hmm.
I think that part of it too is also it's a lot of legal careful walking that you need to do for this one because part of the American with Disabilities Act, you can't treat anybody with any type of mental or physical disability
Hmm.
any differently. And if they experience any different service or experience, they can be they can go in against that act. So that's why you are not allowed to ask for proof of their paperwork for service dogs. If you see them in a store that or a restaurant where they don't allow pets or animals,
Hmm.
um, the restaurant can ask that person for proof that that's a real service dog. That's why the people they just put on a vest on. I think the worst I saw was a peacock on a plane. I've heard parrots, and of course dogs, cats, or whatever that are just running amok. So I read the comments on this story because I'm like, ugh, I want to see the people that are trying to trying to protect the a-holes that are breaking the law, not breaking the law, but taking advantage of
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
rules. Nothing but positiveness about it, dude. One of the few times on social media that I saw every comment from like I scrolled down a bit, dude. Everything was hearts, thumbs up, cheers. Everything was like positive. I'm like, damn.
Because so many people abuse it for so long, like
Yeah.
people just say, "Hey, I have a service dog," but realistically, it's not like 100% trained to be like a service dog. They're
No.
just trained to be emotional there, just to
Yeah. For those that don't realize how hard it is for a service dog to graduate and become a service dog, if you have Disney Plus, and I think it's on Hulu now too,
Hmm.
watch Pick of the Litter,
Yeah,
and it
such a
shows the
great show.
process.
Hmm.
Yeah, it shows the process from the breeding, right from the breeding. The two parents have to have the right traits to begin with, um, and then right from the puppy, as soon as they're able to walk, they start assessing them to see which ones are able to even be candidates,
I feel
and
like I'm
then
watching American Idol or something when I watch that.
in a way, yeah, for real, because
Yeah.
the show follows like certain dogs, and I mean the show doesn't know which one's going to graduate, which one's going to make it through.
Hmm.
So you start seeing some of the dogs fail, some of them for you know really understandable reasons. Like there's one that the dog would get nervous around certain sounds,
Hmm.
and like like your service dog, your job is to alert your owner to dangers so he can't run away to certain sounds.
Hmm. It's so
Uh,
sad though. Like when you see the dogs, they don't make a certain expectation, like
yeah,
pop up, and they don't pop up. Uh,
yeah, or they get
they,
distracted.
yeah, they get career change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
sad.
but also too with these dogs, the it's a double-edged sword because they're smart.
Hmm.
So I think there was one that I saw where the dog as soon as the owner left and the dog knew they were alone, they grabbed the shoe and jumped on the bed and started. Not only was chewing on the shoe, but they were on the bed where they know they aren't allowed. And as soon as the owner came back, they were off of it and they try to act like they did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I'm happy for this. So no more chaos or no more. Well, you'll still see people fighting it, but at least for the airlines, it shouldn't be a problem anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little bit geeky, Anton.
All right.
Hashtag Save Daredevil. That was trending last weekend. So fans of Daredevil that was on Netflix have been campaigning to bring back the show now that the rights for the movie and TV properties or rights have reverted back to Marvel.
Nice.
So fans want Marvel to either bring back Daredevil for more seasons or give it some big screen time.
But they still want Charlie Cox to come back and
yes,
yeah, he's good.
He was one of the people that was supporting the hashtag. Yeah, I'd be down for it. That was a good show. And for the poor experience that people had when what's his name? Oh my god, freaking Ben Affleck. When he played Daredevil, like for people to kind of get over that trauma and give this guy a fair shot and get one over, it's awesome. I mean, I think we geeked out about the fight scenes.
Yeah.
the long.
It's
the long
funny how
still
long
shots.
this hashtag has been trending or has been used. Remember? Oh, you weren't there. I was standing in line just to try to get into the Marvel panel, and I missed it. But anyways, throughout the day, they were handing out these sticks, and on it says "Save Daredevil."
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the
Since
walking sticks?
last year,
Or like just regular sticks?
What's that?
Like walking sticks or like regular sticks?
No, it was just one of those popsicle sticks with the sign that says "Save Daredevil."
Yeah, but the thing is, I think now that the rights reverted back to Marvel, now it's more of a possibility. Before it was more just, don't forget about us. We're still here waiting for the show to come back.
Yeah.
All right. Moving down here, Toxic Avenger. Peter Dinklage to star as the Toxic Avenger in the reboot for the 1984 low-budget splatter film. This is one I'm not familiar with. I know the Toxic Avenger was kind of a creation of the post-nuclear world, like we came into, similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anything involving, I think the Hulk too, with gamma radiation. This is one of those shows that was one of these characters that was created to teach us, or to warn us of what we can accidentally create.
I thought you were gonna say, "Don't play with chemicals." Teach you not to play with chemicals. Yeah.
Don't touch glowing green stuff that you find random.
Yeah.
Macon Blair, Marcel. It sounds French. Macon Blair is set to direct. He directed Netflix's "I Don't Feel at Home in This World," which I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
All right. Some news we do know about. Hawkeye series. So this one we've been teased about since last year. That there's one of the original Marvel shows coming to Disney Plus would be a Hawkeye series, but it seems like it's gonna be focusing more on the daughter. Now that Haley Steinfeld has been casted as Kate Bishop, who is Hawkeye's daughter, and then adding to the cast Florence Poe, who is the sister of played. Well, I actually probably looked up the name. She played the sister of Black Widow in the Black Widow standalone movie that hasn't come out yet. And also joining the cast is Vera Farmiga.
I'm a big fan of her too. She's great.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that name a long time ago. So, I mean, it shows you how important Florence Poe's character is going to be in Black Widow when, even though the movie's not out yet, we already know she's going to be added to a series that's going to be part of the MCU.
kind of cool. Excited to
Yeah.
see that.
All right, on more news, I'm sure you're excited for Metal Gear Solid.
Hmm.
Sorry, I couldn't say it. We have some casting news. Oscar Isaac has been cast as Solid Snake.
Yeah, I kind of geeked out on this one.
Yeah.
He does have the face structure of a solid
Well,
snake. So
also somebody called me on the comments saying that I used the wrong picture. That I used Venom. I don't know what it
Venom.
was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I this is a Sony property I'm not familiar with. I will be very honest. If I did use the wrong picture, I apologize. But either way, though, he has that rugged look.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
It's
that's
funny.
right. You are using Venom because he doesn't have the eye patch.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Anyways, the whatever. The news is there. The news is
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
All right, Anton. What's going on with Monster Hunter?
Yeah, so Monster Hunter is now available in movie theaters. Was in movie theaters in China.
Hmm.
I don't know if you heard about the backlash, but there was a very racist joke that was in the movie. Let me read this joke to you, okay? So there's this scene. I'm not going to tell you more details because it's kind of a spoiler. So the line goes, "What are my knees? What kind of knees are these? Chinese?"
Wow. Does that joke even play in translated?
I think it does. And
Does it?
yeah, because of that, it had a big backlash.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people say, "Hey, that's not funny." That's so bad.
Yeah.
So I think they tried to edit the film to take that joke out, but it's so bad that a lot of the cinemas are like, "No, we're not going to show this movie." So it's kind of crazy.
Ugh.
And on Steam, they have Monster Hunter on Steam.
Yeah.
So the game itself is getting really bad reviews on there as well.
People crashing it, like crashing the ratings for it?
Yeah, and it's a video game. It has
Uh,
nothing to do with the movie. It is the same
mm,
property, but even though that's going on,
mm.
Capcom is kind of backing away, saying, "Hey, we only sold the rights to make the movie. We have no control over it. Uh, it's not us." So
Ugh,
it's a lot of backlash.
everything just seems to be locked down when it comes to ratings. Like only
Hmm.
verified purchaser or verified, people should be able to rate that stuff.
Hmm.
It's not going to prevent a lot of this, but it's going to at least limit the uh not exposure, the vulnerability
Hmm.
to these type of attacks. Because I mean that happened to Solo, that happened to uh the last Star Wars movie. It's yeah, no, it's annoying.
Hmm.
All right, anyways. Also, such a stupid joke to go out with. Like,
Yeah, it is.
like that's the hill you died on. All right, cool. Was that worth it? Could you at least make the joke better? All right, that's all. Let's go into some good news.
All right.
HBO Max has made a deal with Warner Brothers to release its 2021 schedule alongside theaters. So any movie that is Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers distributed, that's going to be released in theaters in 2021 is also going to be released on HBO Max at the same time for 30 days. Similar model to what we're going to see for Wonder Woman.
Ah,
Among
okay.
these movies, Godzilla versus King Kong in May 21st. Yeah. Space Jam: A New Legacy, July 16th. The Suicide Squad, August 6th. Dune, October 1st. Matrix 4, December 22nd. And Mortal Kombat to be determined.
Hmm. And you said King Kong versus
Is in May.
Godzilla? Yeah.
Godzilla vs. King Kong, yeah. I know I used the one for King of the Monsters, but still.
Hmm.
Uh, I need to post these things quick, Anton. Don't judge me. Uh, this one has also spurred. I got to pull up the picture because AMC has once again been pissed off by this news. It was like a day of like excitement for people that are excited for these movies coming out, and then the backlash from AMC. Let's see here. Is it the CEO? I can't tell. Oh yeah, CEO Adam Aron for AMC theaters. Clearly, Warner Media intends to sacrifice a considerable portion of profit of its movie studios division, and that its production partners, filmmakers, and subsidize its HBO Max startup. As for AMC, we will do all in our power to ensure that Warner does not do that at our expense.
It is,
Yeah,
kind of
it's a big
taking.
chunk.
Yeah, it's a big chunk.
But at the same time too, though, some of these movies that I mean, I listed the A-list ones. Space Jam, questionably A-list. Uh, Mortal Kombat, questionably A-list. But like King Kong, Suicide Squad, Dune, Matrix 4, those are big movies and coming out. However, other movies I wouldn't have touched with a 10-foot pole going into it. It's just not, something I would be excited about. But if it came out to HBO Max, I'd be down to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, in the case of Godzilla, Dune, I might go to AMC for the, Dolby experience. So it really depends on the movie. I
Mm-hmm.
get some people are gonna just choose the HBO Max, but those that are fans of these movies and know the value of the proper projection system and audio system will go to the movies. Just be more selective about what movie they go watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes more sense. When there's a AAA title movie, you got to see it on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have a big screen in your house, you're a
But
billionaire.
it's
I
never
don't
gonna be
know.
as big though.
Yeah,
Your
true.
your sound system might be as good or better, but the projection's never gonna be as good.
Mm-mm.
All right. That's it for the headline news here, Anton.
All right.
You ready into streaming?
Yeah, let's move on to streaming.
All right. So on December 4th, this past Friday, the series for Selena came out on Netflix, and me and Martha have binged it. Because we are kind of doing a quarantine right now. Not kind of, we are doing a quarantine right now. We just did a watch party thing. We just, went on their phones, put it on speaker as we were watching at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I will say the main actress, Christian Serrano, does a great job of depicting her. Um, Physically, I'm pretty sure they're padding her hips because it doesn't seem natural,
Mm-hmm.
and also when she moves, sometimes it doesn't move right. But the acting, the way she speaks, um, she nailed it. Like I would say she really studied up on her mannerisms and her way of speaking. Uh, and as for the show, I was pleasantly surprised to see that the show's focusing more on the entire family rather than just Selena's Selena's journey. There you go. Yeah, so you kind of tell in the hips too. Like it's, I don't know. And it's funny because in some scenes, say like they do like a side view,
Mm-hmm.
some scenes her butt looks completely flat, and other scenes it looks too rounded.
Uh-huh.
So, you can tell what scenes like she kind of did a spin that wasn't planned
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't pad her butt, and others where they knew they were going to focus on her profile shot, they did
It
pad
was
it.
a double.
Stunt double.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't know this before, but it's one of Selena's sister. Oh, not Selena's sister that is a producer for the series. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the experiences and conversations within the family, I'm sure she was able to try to recreate that or reenact that as best she can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one thing I didn't know is it's being broken up into two parts.
Mm-hmm.
And we've only gotten the first part, and it's only about I think 8 episodes. Yeah, 8 episodes. So
How is it compared to the Jennifer Lopez movie for you guys?
I haven't seen the Jennifer Lopez movie in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think the only thing that I really miss about the J-Lo version
Hmm.
is Edward James Olmos as the dad.
He's good.
The
Hmm.
dad for this one, like he's okay, but it's just like after seeing Edward James Olmos like with his passion and his delivery of some of these lines and just frustration,
Hmm.
I think he did a better job. Um, but the
This show is
casting is
more
great.
detailed, right? I mean, it's basically like almost day by day throughout her career at the very beginning.
Yeah, pretty much. So the first part, I mean, you focus on the '80s for a long time.
Hmm.
Really, just her childhood, building up to, the struggles that her and her siblings went through to, just get gigs.
Hmm.
How much her family had to move around, how much they struggled with money. At one point, they showed them making. They knew that their performance had to have a more of theatrical experience.
Hmm.
um, so the dad's like, all right, well, let's go get some more equipment and make it better. And the son's like, all right, sweet, let's go do it. And he's in the car saying, yeah, we can get like better audio board, so we can have a better mix of the instruments. We can try to throw in some in between stuff while we set up new songs. Maybe like a lighting rig, blah blah blah, stuff like that. We can program it, and then the dad pulls up to the back of a restaurant and he tells his sons to go get these 32-ounce peach cans. They collected a crap load of peach cans and then they took it back to the garage, and the entire family was working on cleaning them up, drilling holes in the back, installing lights themselves into them.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's funny because in the next scene they show the lights working. They did a great job, dude. Like that is something we would have done in high school.
Hmm.
They put like different color lights in certain circuits. So they just had a switchboard. They kind of flip the lights on and off manually, and they kind of gave like a strobing club effect
That
on the dance
reminds
floor.
me of um, a Reddit post I saw the other day where it's this like party that they're having at this house, like probably a quinceanera or something big where they're playing club music. So you hear like
Yeah.
the in the background, and you see like the lights are like flickering, right? Like you're in the club,
Yeah.
and you see this guy just holding a cord, extension
Oh,
cord, and he just goes like this.
oh, that's gonna cause a shortage.
Yeah, so that's what he's just doing the whole time. And then can you
Oh,
imagine it's getting to the part where it's gonna the beat's gonna drop. So he's
oh,
doing that like this like really hard. So
yeah.
you can see like the lights flickering in the back, and it's like, oh my god,
And
that's
then you hear a pop, and then there's no more lights.
it's
Uh,
just
yeah. So
hilarious.
yeah, I like the series, dude. I
Hmm.
like that it's focusing more on the entire family. You see everybody's part and sacrifice in this.
Hmm.
I learned more about the brother, which I didn't know. I mean, even news like in real life, or whatever. I never really heard about the brother. That he suffered from OCD, so it wasn't debilitating, but it definitely affected his life. And how much pressure was on him to write the songs for the band.
Hmm.
The sister who is the producer, it shows her being reluctant to be the drummer because really she had no passion for music. She didn't care about music. It was all her brother and Selena that were into it.
Hmm.
She didn't have an ear for it. She didn't care about it. It's just the dad said, "All right, well your brother's playing guitar, Selena's a singer. We need a drummer. You're the only one left that's not playing an instrument. You're the drummer." Like I'm like, damn, like that sucks. Like you don't care. Like you don't care, and like also there's an element of talent that you have to have, especially
Hmm.
for drummers. Like that's a lot of pressure on drummers to keep the pace of songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, they carry the whole band basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so I like the series, dude. I'm kind of curious to see what you would think about it because as a Hispanic person, I have a lot of experience studying. I know the passion behind it. I know the story behind her. Um, I enjoyed it, and I think they're doing the story more justice. As an outsider, I want to know what you think, Anton. So if you and Julie have a some time, check out an episode or two. Let me know.
All right, we'll do.
All right, Anton. Let's get into the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Episode 5 and episode 6. Uh, respectively chapter 13, the Jedi, and chapter 14, the tragedy.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with the Jedi. This is the high point for the series. A
Yes,
high point, sorry.
a very high point for the series. Ahsoka. Within the first
Yes.
5 minutes, it's just, you know, like big surprise. Like
Just
you would,
badassness.
yeah. And Dave Filoni really brings it in this episode. I,
Uh-huh.
it this episode alone brings new fans, old fans,
Hmm.
trilogy fans, people who've never really cared for probably the first three, or not the first three, but like episode one, two, three. People who were big fans of 4, 5, 6 came back and said, "Wow, this is this is good."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just to recap for those, because I know this episode has been out for a couple weeks now at this
Mm-hmm.
point. This is the episode where the Mandalorian travels to a world ruled by a ruthless magistrate
Mm-hmm.
who has made a powerful enemy, and that enemy is Ahsoka. And Mando's going to that planet to help, or to try to talk to Ahsoka to train Grogu, which we also find out that that's the child's name, Grogu.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh yeah, at this
Yeah.
point. Well, that's 2 weeks. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks at this point. And probably
Baby
3 weeks by the
Baby
time I saw.
Yoda is now known as Grogu.
Surprisingly, I don't think it caught on that well.
No.
There's a meme going on with Adam Driver. It's like the 6 pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like on the left side is Adam Driver, and the right side is Grogu, and Adam Driver's like grow, Grogu's like grow, Adam Driver's like goo, and then Yoda's like goo, and then at the end says Grogu, and then Baby Yoda goes Baby Yoda. Like it's just reluctance to accept that that's the name. But I mean, it's at least we finally got some answers. We're really getting a lot of background for Grogu in this one. Um, this actually motivated me to go finish Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's been like on my watch queue for the
Dude,
longest
it's
time.
so good. I'm telling you, man. That last part.
Dude, the Bad Batch, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's going on a tangent right now. I don't want to go too deep, but that they did such a good job with the final season for Clone Wars, and that motivated me to start watching Rebels, and
Mm-hmm.
I barely started watching Rebels. Also, side note for Rebels, it is Aladdin playing through the Luke storyline.
Yeah, Ezra does kind of look like Aladdin there, huh?
Not even that, but they even call him a street rat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
He's living by himself on a high tower
Mm-hmm.
made with just stuff that he's stolen. He's swindling and what you
Well,
call it?
he's not going for
Being
the
all
princess
slick.
though. Yeah.
But there is a princess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just based on the first 2 episodes. Like, wow, this is real. They just dropped Aladdin in as or recasted Luke with Aladdin, didn't they?
So you haven't got
Disney's
that
really
far
called
with
out.
Rebels, right? You're still working on Rebels?
No, I'm still probably 3 episodes in.
Okay.
Like the Ezra's still trying to get used to. Actually, he just started his Jedi training.
Mm-hmm.
It just barely dropped that.
Yeah. I hated the
Yeah.
first season, but it really kicks in after the second one.
I see the potential.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but back to the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that people called out here was that Ahsoka's head tails. There's a proper name for it, but the layman's term is head tails
Mm-hmm.
are not as long as they should be.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
that's the thing. Like, I think it's just the art style of different anime styles, like animated. Because the first versions of Ahsoka in Clone Wars look totally different than Ahsoka in Rebels,
yeah,
and I respected it because it's just the art style of what they're trying to go for that animation.
yeah,
If you were to compare Count Dooku and Count
Oh,
Dooku,
God.
and you see how
Yeah.
big and long his face is in the series, and then you
Not just
see.
that, but also his body too. He's very bulky and muscular. He is a wall, like a force. And
Mhm.
then in the movie, he's a big older guy, but he's still, a fairly svelte guy.
Yeah, exactly. And the things that you
Yeah.
can't really compare oranges and apples, it's just how they want to stylize it. But yeah, for the hardcore fans that are, uh, really picking on that, or people who, that's just.
Well, the costume designer, because people were upset because the head tails are supposed to be a sign of maturity. So as she gets older, they're supposed to grow. So right now, I think they're a little bit shorter than they were in Clone Wars.
Mhm,
But the costume designer, or the yeah, costume designer, said it was purely for functionality,
mhm.
like for the
Yeah,
for
if
the
it's any
actress.
longer, I don't think Rosario Dawson would be able to
And
move around that much.
and I imagine those are heavy too, because they need to be
Mhm,
kind of weighted down to because if they can't be light and stiff, or else they don't flow right. They need to have some weight to them
mhm.
so that they're not flopping around.
Yeah, can you
Uh,
imagine like having like really heavy stuff on your head? And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure when she's walking around, she has to make it
I
look
mean,
like
yeah, I
it's
mean,
not
I
heavy.
mean, it's balanced.
Hmm.
Because there's the two tails in the front, and then there's one thicker tail coming out the back,
Hmm.
but it's still a lot of weight on your head.
Hmm.
The other thing too that came out of the episode was the you really get a sense of how close Grogu has gotten to Mando.
Hmm.
He really sees him as a father figure. Like, you kind of suspected it based on how much, the little looks. Say Mando does something badass, and Grogu just kind of looks up and like sees him with admiration, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, like the Ahsoka kind of just confirms that by the way, how attached Grogu is to Mando. And then the other thing I saw trending was the comparison between the fight scene with Ahsoka and what's her name? The magistrate.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
think
her
the
name.
magistrate, that lady that plays her, I think she choreographed the whole fight scene and everything.
I think Governor Wing. There you go. No, but they compared it to the fight scene in Kill Bill between the main character and Lucy Liu's character.
Hmm.
Like, similar scenario. Like, it's in a garden on a bridge, surrounded by water, and instead of swords, it was a staff and a lightsaber.
Yeah, so Diana Lee uh, Inosanto, which is that lady
Uh-huh.
that plays the magistrate, she is the
Hmm.
goddaughter of Bruce Lee.
Oh,
Yeah. She's been in a lot of movies doing stunts. She also, let me see, she was in Alita Battle
oh,
Angel.
yeah.
She was the one that was doing the martial arts training for Rosa Salazar, which plays Alita.
Hmm.
She was also doing, let me see. Okay, that's just stunts. She acted in. I'm trying to see if there's something that you.
I'm going through it too, see if anything catches my eye. The
Blade.
the time machine. Oh, Blade. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one I would definitely seen.
Hmm.
But uncredited bloodbath vampire. uh,
Yeah, but if you look at
Diana
her
Ross.
stunts credits, it's a lot.
Oh yeah,
She's been in a
a
lot.
lot of. I mean, yes, anything from sci-fi to fantasy and everything between.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, Wild Wild West. Come on. But yeah, so she's definitely following her father's footsteps in bringing martial arts to Hollywood.
Goddaughter.
Yeah. Yep. Oh God, sorry. Um, anything else for this episode? I'm trying to think back to it. It's been 2 weeks since I saw it, so
Um, a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is gonna be a goose chase for Grogu to
for
find
Mando.
his master, or whoever wants to train him."
Mm-hmm.
I guess, he might go down the path of darkness. He might go down the path of light. So we don't really know. But a lot of people are speculating, who's going to be the Jedi that is going to be training him? Who's the Jedi that is going to be the one that he's calling to?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are speculating, it could be someone that is from the Master Jedi who was teaching at the academy. So it could be Mace Windu. It could be
If he survived.
if he survived.
Yeah.
It would make sense if he came back because I guess Boba Fett has a very big thing that he wants to do during the Clone Wars. Is he tried to kill Mace Windu so many times,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
failed. Yeah, it would make sense for him to come back, but who knows? Another theory is Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order, which is one of the new Star Wars game that came out recently, and that game itself took place around this time too. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Cal Kestis pop up, but also
Mm.
maybe Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra's the main one I've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason why it kind of motivated me to start watching Rebels too. Which would make sense. I think Ezra at that point would be in his 30s,
Mm-hmm.
so around the right age to take on a Padawan. Um, and then for funsies, I've seen some concept art showing Sebastian Stan as a slightly older post original trilogy Luke.
Mm-hmm. He does look. He has that figure. He
With short,
has that
yeah,
look.
with short
Mm-hmm.
hair, yeah, with short hair
Bob
and
haircut.
he can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We really so let's move on to chapter 14, the tragedy, which is so appropriately named.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one is where they do go to this shrine where this meditating place on top of a mountain, where Grogu's supposed to sit there, meditate, and send out pretty much his force energy into the cosmos to call on a teacher to train him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this has this is like the episode, not the episode, this is the part in a video game that I hate where it's endless waves of enemies coming at you while you're trying to defend uh uh somebody trying to hack or trying to break into something.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it was Mando trying to protect Grogu while he was meditating, first from Boba Fett, and also the return of Ming Na Wen's character, Fennec Shand,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like they were just they were reaching trying to bring her back. Like they
Mm-hmm.
did not explain what happened. They showed Fennec and the Mandalorian's like, I thought you were dead, and she says I was, and all she did was open up like this like plate in her stomach showing some robotic gears and wires. I'm like, that says nothing. Like what you got operated on in the middle of the desert? Like what? Like that doesn't explain anything there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after some back and forth battling, Boba Fett managed to get his armor back. Uh, and then all of a sudden everybody was buddies as they were fighting off invading stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, goddamn, the stormtroopers have gotten way worse than they were in the original trilogy.
There's so many of them too, which is funny. Yeah, dude, this episode alone is probably one of my most favorite episodes yet. And the
Really?
reason why is because, dude, we saw how crazy Mando is and how cool, he maneuvers around through, the first season, the second season, and he's
Yeah.
so badass, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, we know Boba Fett has, had a lot of screen time in the movies.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think there's ever a time where we saw Boba Fett as badass as this episode. This
Yeah.
has by far, it is the most like satisfying episode for me by far.
Yeah, we finally get to see what Boba Fett does. I was gonna say, well, no, we saw Boba Fett, but no, that was Jango Fett that we saw using the rockets,
Hmm.
fighting. Um, who was he fighting? I think he was fighting both Anakin and Obi-Wan, right?
Hmm.
On
Hmm.
on the clone
Clone Wars,
planet.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, yeah, so like that's I think the first time we saw the rocket pack used,
Hmm.
like, oh, that actually works.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I agree. I like this one, and
And it's
does show
funny
Boba Fett.
because like Boba Fett as a Mandalorian already, he
Mhm.
is more badass than Mando himself.
And he did kind of put to rest some theories out
Hmm.
there that I saw that fans were thinking that Boba Fett isn't a true Mandalorian.
Hmm.
Maybe he's just some you know uh mercenary that happened to find the armor and just wears it and pretends to be Mandalorian. But he made it very clear. He
This
busted
is
out the
my
whole
dad.
family tree and showed,
Yeah.
this is my dad. This is me. You can't read the writing, but trust me, that's me right there.
Yeah, but dude, awesome. Robert Rodriguez, if he has his own series just directing all of Boba Fett's storyline, I am totally down to watch it. There was a couple scenes in this episode where I'm totally fanboying out because I'm like, dude, that is totally all Robert Rodriguez's style. And I'll tell you this scene. It was
The
a
Rock.
scene where it was a scene where Fennec was jumping backwards and shooting in the air. She's like floating in the air,
Oh
jumping
yeah,
backwards. That is very Antonio
that was
Banderas in
yeah,
Desperado. Yeah.
exactly. I'm like, I knew I've seen that. I was also thinking like video games. I'm like, oh, the no look the no scope.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, that scene definitely had that his mark on it.
Hmm.
Um, Also, something I have to note here is if there is another spin-off series, fans are speculating it might be one for Gina Carano. Uh, because she has that new she's a law enforcement person now. She's a sheriff or deputy, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Uh, they're thinking that there might be a New Republic series, and she would be the star of it. So, I mean, if that's the case, I can imagine kind of a cop drama in the Star Wars universe.
Hmm.
But yeah, so back to this episode. Uh, so ultimately, it was a trap.
Hmm.
Not a trap, but
It was a
they got
trap.
betrayed. Yeah, it's a trap. Um, and also the why did they send in regular stormtroopers when they could have just sent in those freaking badass black troopers?
Yeah. That's weird, huh? Dark Troopers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dark troopers just dropped in. It was like what four of them managed to do what say 3 dozen stormtroopers couldn't do. They jumped in, grabbed Grogu, and bailed.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this one did kind of give you the idea that there's a possibility that Grogu could go to the dark side. Um, just the way he was treating the stormtroopers in his holding cell.
Hmm.
He was unloading on them.
Hmm. I think the
Um,
thing is that, Grogu is very young still, So I
yeah, he's
think
undisciplined.
he still has that whole path in front of him to be a better Jedi
Yeah,
or whatever he chooses to go down with. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So all the more reason he needs the right teacher.
Hmm.
All right, Anton. Anything else for these episodes?
No, dude, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen next. I know that once we get to see the Jedi that's going to come to save him, my mind's
Oh, that's
probably
how
going
they're
to be
gonna.
blown then.
We have 2 episodes left in
Yeah.
this Friday and the next Friday, and that's it.
Yeah.
After December 18th is the last episode we get for the
Mm-hmm.
season. Um, I really think they're gonna end. They're gonna end with the Jedi. I think they're gonna show somebody walking up with and then like take a very low
Big
shot.
ass cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a very low shot. You're gonna see 2 feet walk into frame, and then everybody just looking at him. All of a sudden, you just hear the lightsaber sound going, vroom.
Yeah.
Like just like you see it pop up in the screen next to his feet. That's all we're gonna get. Watch. I bet you. That,
There's I can see the memes now. People just going to their Disney Plus account settings and then hitting the unsubscribe button right after that. Yeah.
uh, yeah, but I mean, hopefully not that bad of a cliffhanger. But I mean, we have Ahsoka, we have uh, Bo-Katan. Uh, I'm trying to think what else we were expecting for this episode.
Okay,
Or
so
not episode, this
real
season.
quick.
Yeah,
So, damn it, I can't talk about it because you haven't seen it yet. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Damn. I'll just
Is it
wait.
with Rebels?
Yeah, it's with Rebels because what happens at the end of Rebels is
Oh,
supposed to it. There's that
tie it.
cliffhanger,
Yeah,
and us seeing Ahsoka in this one.
yeah,
There's a big gap where I'm like, what happened to this?
yeah.
And it
Okay.
hasn't been addressed yet.
I'm wondering when her lightsabers went back to white.
Yeah,
Is it is it in Rebels?
it's in Rebels.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Because
Mhm.
I knew she had blue ones at the end of Clone Wars.
Yeah, well, she left him, like she died.
Did she? Oh, she did. She let. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I remember Darth Vader picking it up from the snow or the ashes.
Yeah,
Okay, you're right. I forgot about the part.
so he's like, oh, she's dead.
Because it's so easy to make a new lightsaber. It's those kyber crystals are everywhere, right?
There's a whole thing how she got the
Okay,
crystals for
the new
that
crystals.
new one. Yeah.
All right, all right. That's on. Ready to move on to our last segment here.
Yes, let's get into books.
Books. Yeah. Our less our less frequent but very appreciated book section.
Yeah.
So we both got a copy of Ready Player Two.
Hmm.
For those that don't know, this is by Ernest Cline, who did the first book, Ready Player One, that
That got
ultimately became a
hmm
movie.
hmm
Yep. All right, Anton, I'll let you lead this one. Actually, before you start, I would say I had to freaking crash read this one because I knew you really wanted to talk about it.
hmm
Uh, I had to mute our group chat
hmm
because as soon as I saw you and Carl talking about it, I'm like, even if they're being careful, some stuff is gonna slip out. Be careful. Other motivation I had was some social media sites like Nerdist were like already posting theories or reviews.
hmm
Just with the captions, they were kind of slipping some spoilers.
hmm
So I was getting really frustrated. I'm like, oh my god, I need to freaking read this. So with all the stuff that happened, I wanted to kind of read, 50 pages a night until today. But once the whole thing that we talked about at the beginning of the episode with the type of week I had, I really didn't start reading this until Thursday night. Thursday night, I was on chapter 4,
hmm
and I finished on chapter 8.
hmm
Then Friday, no, Saturday, I was on I went from chapter 9 to chapter 18.
hmm
Today I went from chapter 19 to chapter 30.
Wow.
I did like 150 pages today, dude.
Yeah.
I think total 10 to 11 hours.
hmm
It just and like 9 of those hours were this week.
hmm
My brain hurts. My eyes hurt.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say some
Cut.
things that are not spoilers because it's kind of like the title of the book or whatever, um,
Hmm.
or the description synopsis. So this takes place right after the first movie or the first book. But of course, there's a lot of different things between the movie and the book.
Yeah.
Um, first thing,
Takes
first thing,
takes place 3 years after.
it takes place right after, but then of course it
Oh,
goes
it's a time
gradually.
jump. Time
Yeah,
jump. Yeah,
time
yeah,
jump.
yeah.
But yeah, this I'm gonna say right now, I'm very skeptical of a second film. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Oh, oh my God! Right away, yes. I think he really wanted to push the pop cultural references because there's so many things you're not going to get the rights to. It's not a money thing. I think it's just a protection of a certain, for example, a certain pop star.
Yeah.
you're never gonna get the rights to that pop star. I promise you. Especially the way they used it.
Yeah, but I know they're probably gonna use something else. Like they did in the first movie.
Yeah,
Um,
they're gonna story. Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, it takes place right after the first one. So we learned that Parzival is now, which is Wade Watts, the owner of the new company. It turns out that some of the High Five members, which is the team that won the Easter egg, Parzival
Right.
mainly.
Uh-huh.
They each got a split of the money because Parzival shared his money, his fortune with his best friends.
Yep.
And each of them did their own thing. They kind of became their own like billionaire philanthropist, doing good for the world. But while all that's going on, Wade kind of distance away from Samantha because of differences that they believe in.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where Wade is like, oh, wow, there's more, that he didn't know about. There's more
Mm-hmm.
of something that belongs to Halliday, his big
Mm-hmm.
idol that created the Oasis. So, yeah, he goes through this little mini rabbit hole, where he finds
Yeah.
out that there is a real egg sitting inside a vault.
Mm-hmm.
So when he opens up that egg, it turns out it is the Oni device, which is a what is it called? Something neural
Yeah, I'll look at it right now.
Oasis
Uh,
neural
interface.
interface. So
Yeah.
basically, it's kind of like a little giant wraparound thing from your head all the way to your spine, and it takes you into virtual reality, but through your cerebro. So you don't have any
Yeah.
visor, you're not looking into anything. It just shuts off your
Straight.
brain and puts you
And you
straight.
know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I thought this is like the third generation for what the thing that Elon Musk is working on.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Right away, I was like, that's a scary thing to think about. Like
Yeah.
just that type of connection, because there's so many, not even like the use of the technology, but the things that can happen unexpectedly, power
Hmm.
outages,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hardware malfunction, anything can happen.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool that, he did think about that. Ernie Klein did think
Hmm.
about that, and he kind of addressed it as what they were talking about in the book. Um, but anyways, yeah. So he finds out that there's this device that can take you into the virtual reality oasis,
Hmm.
and you can sense, feel everything that you can do in real life as a person. You can have in the
Yeah,
oasis.
the sensations are simulated, and then those simulations are plugged right into your brain, so it's almost as if you're actually touching it. You have that the haptic feedback is more realistic.
Yeah, it's it's basically tricking your brain that you're,
Mm-hmm.
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I'm glad that he did not try to overlook or try to skirt around the obvious things that people would be using this for.
Hmm.
Um, there's a couple pages. I would say at least 2 or 3 pages of just flat out them describing how some people are using it for sexual purposes,
Hmm.
drug use,
Hmm.
other things that are dangerous to experience or you wouldn't want to experience or can experience, but through this you can.
Hmm.
But then they went to focus on the uh, you know ability to learn life skills. He was using it to learn guitar playing, stuff
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, because of his encounter with this new headset that nobody knew about, uh, I guess he saw a video with Halliday telling him, "Hey, this is the technology.
Hmm.
You own it now because you're the owner of the company and you own everything that I own. So, it is your decision to release this device to the world."
Yeah.
if you so choose it. So yeah, it ends up that he chose to release it to the world, even though
Mm-hmm.
some people, or actually a person,
Yeah.
didn't agree to it. So once this device went online and it
Mm-hmm.
hit a certain amount of people that logged in, a secret message appeared all over the world in the
Mm-hmm.
Oasis telling people
Yeah.
about a certain clue. And it turns out that it's a new Easter egg.
Yeah.
Easter egg hunt.
Seven shards that need to be combined
Mm-hmm.
to bring
The Siren
to
Soul.
unlock the Siren Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Yeah. It's.
It,
Can I just
it,
begin by
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. You go. You go. You go. I was gonna go on a rant though.
Okay, so it turns out that people thought it was going to be another Easter egg, and it just turns out that it's an Easter egg only for
Percival.
personal, which is uh, I guess Parzival,
Yeah.
aka Wade Watts, to
Yeah.
go and look. So it turns out that other people can't really do the
Which
contest.
I felt that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the fact that they kind of made it such a public thing, but really nobody knew what's going on about it, what it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and even at the end of the book, nobody really knew what the end result was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess we'll go into spoilers now at this point forward. Like,
Yeah.
I really can't think about it without talking about spoilers here.
Yeah.
And I'll begin by saying I hated Percival in this book, dude. He was just
The first
he
couple
is not the
chapters, I hated it. Yeah.
yeah, like he is not love. Like, he is such a creeper, dude. Like he's doing such like weird things.
But it kind of tells you how much of a nerd he is. And I think, this side of him was shown towards the end of the previous book when he was locking himself in that apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I think that was a section where I felt like, oh, it's kind of cool. Kind of gives you that old boy vibe. I don't know if you
Yeah.
watched the Korean version, but you've probably seen the American version.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it kind of gives that vibe of, oh, hey, this is not a likable person, but he's doing whatever he can to do the right thing. But he just choose that, his way of doing thing is the right thing. So yeah, that's how I felt for the first couple chapters. Is the choices that he makes is kind of like, oh, this guy's stupid, or
Like he definitely lost his way. Like he had no like I get it. The egg hunt or the hunt for the Easter egg was his entire life. And now that he had it, he had no real purpose. But he was still an a-hole, and I feel like he didn't really um
redeem himself.
yeah, he didn't redeem himself. I think it felt kind of forced.
Yeah.
The fact that Artemis kind of like went back to him, I was kind of like, you broke up with him before the seven
Yeah.
shard stuff started. Like him doing the right thing now doesn't, like, there's other reasons why it wasn't just the Oni system that you disagreed with him. There's other things.
Mm-hmm. Like
Even
saving the
even
world.
Og.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even Og, he disagreed with him on. Yeah.
That's the thing that I guess they kind of address for Wade in the book, is that he is too addicted to the world.
Oh yeah, he definitely has an addiction. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
commentary on social media now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a
Even
fun.
though even though like I guess they also address that, how such of an asshole he is
Mhm.
when Lohengrin met him for the first time.
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, you're kind of, whatever, but gotta you gotta wake up.
yeah,
You're a billionaire, and we get it because you're a billionaire. You act like that, but it kind of makes sense. A lot of people do.
yeah,
A good example, I think, would be Jeff Bezos. I think that's the whole reason Ernie wrote this character to be like that, because he knows that, um, even though there are a lot of people out there that are millionaires or billionaires, they have that sense of like, oh, doing the right thing. I
Hmm.
think, Bill Gates is probably the only good example of using his money for good, because it's him and his
Yeah.
wife, doing good things around the world.
Yeah, and I really saw Og being the Bill Gates,
Yeah, exactly.
like being a mentor, using his money for
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, and I think that's the
Um,
thing that Samantha was trying to do, is trying to
yeah,
be like,
well,
Melinda
all of
Gates.
them,
Hmm.
they all had their missions,
Yeah.
um, each for their own, community or what they felt impacted by in their lives.
Hmm.
Percival, he did have a foundation for educational stuff, but other than that, he really didn't do much. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of like he gave $1 billion for or billion credits for finding the first clue.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like shows you like he rather spend his money that way.
Hmm.
Um, you mentioned Lohengrin. That
Hmm.
one, he was a total creeper with her at
Hmm.
the beginning.
Hmm.
Not just eavesdropping in her conversation with her friends, which I get it. He
Hmm.
kind of wanted to see, learn more, like, which I get that.
Hmm.
But then he went the extra
Yeah.
mile and started looking at her
Yeah.
private information,
Hmm.
pulled
And
up her real
I like
name.
how, Ernie kind of have her as a character to point out that, hey, that's wrong. But also at the same time, Wade is like,
He
yeah,
went too.
but yeah, he did go too far, but then he just brushed it off. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
and then beyond her private information, he
Hmm.
also spied on her
Hmm.
by using multiple security cameras to see her in real life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that was weird. And also, I feel Lohengrin was such an underused character.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
She
felt
sounds
like
pretty awesome, dude. Yeah.
her and her group of friends sound like they'd be like a great. I really thought the book was going to do back and forth between the high five and the low five,
Hmm. Yeah.
and they didn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if that was like an editing choice. Like they had it and then it was too long, so they took it out.
Maybe it would just be uh, I think that the low five would be Ready Player Two movie, because towards at the very end, they kind of hinted that there's gonna be a movie contract with Lohengrin.
Um,
I don't know if that could maybe be a nod to, hey, next movie is not going to
this
be
is it.
about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's and for those that like, well, I guess if you're listening to this and you don't care, you either read the book or don't care about spoilers, but yeah, it just felt like weird that they introduced this awesome character that was just as it was a pretty much a younger female Wade,
Mhm.
Percival, um, or even Artemis, and then kind of like push her aside, and
Well,
then
she
later on
went through two major quests that we didn't get to see at all. The first
right,
quest would be
searching
finding
for
the
the
journal.
clues. Yeah, the clues that Og left.
Hmm. And then the second one would be getting that
Dork, Dork
nerd,
Slayer.
yeah, Dork Slayer.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, maybe we'll get like a side story somewhere. I think a lot of people are gonna
maybe.
actually ask for that from Ernie.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, kind of like the two, I don't know, but yeah, like that's all I really get though. Is just that first interaction, and then later on the conference room, and then you after that you don't see him ever again until the very end, and right away he gets laid.
Yeah, yeah.
Pops in, here you go, gets killed. It's
Hmm.
not really. I was like, wow, that was it for Logren. All right.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I mean, we can talk for hours about this,
Yes, we can. Yeah.
but I'll try to condense it by making some key points.
Okay.
So let's start with Anorak. So we
Okay.
find that Anorak, the AI, towards the end of the previous book, uh,
Holidays, NPC.
and yeah, Holidays NPC. So we learned that he is almost an exact copy of Halliday, but then edited because he didn't
Yes.
want the that AI to go above and beyond himself to become like Skynet or something like that, which
Hmm.
he did. you know, um, how was that twist for you? Because that I think that was one of the biggest twists for me, where I'm like, okay, this got me interested into continuing to read this book, because I got to that point where I'm like, I'm kind of getting tired of this book because it's not how I was imagining it.
Uh, I was fine with that, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
anticipated that was going to be the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anything, the book just confirmed my suspicions as things went on. Um, but yeah, and I think too, because I've read other books similar to this, I saw what was going to happen. Um, I was fine with it. I was like, all right, cool. It's a logical step, and showing how mankind is kind of can play God sometimes, and kind of dovetailing to what we were saying at the beginning of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
uh, unknown consequences down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because even he said that he thinks that Holiday made a mistake. He didn't realize what he created,
Mm-hmm.
because he was supposed to delete himself after the Easter egg contest was over.
Mm-hmm.
But then he had a moment of, wait, I know what I am. I don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
What the problem I did have was that weird. uh, the book could have ended with Kira coming back, and maybe bringing back Og, and just
Mm-hmm.
left it there.
Mm-hmm.
But then it had to take this other weird twist at the end, where now they're talking about the singularity, and they're a digital version of themselves going. That I felt that part was unnecessary, and it felt very preachy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because I guess in a way, he's trying to point it out there, that like there is more of like a sci-fi, like things that are kind of in a lot of other stories too. But I
Hmm.
guess it's kind of his take on pushing it and kind of like ending it there. And I think, just because of that part alone, I think it ends there for this book. I don't think he's probably gonna write any more. Maybe just like side
Well,
stories and
oh,
stuff.
that's the other thing that bugged me. They
Mm-hmm.
made it seem like it was like one big happy ending at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't address what they did afterwards to help fix the planet.
Mm-hmm.
What do they learn from this? What are they doing differently to focus on saving the planet?
Mm-hmm.
That spaceship was their ark, their
Mm-hmm.
Noah's Ark, to get off of it. Um, so that means they're investing on Earth, but like, what are they doing? What have they done to humanity?
Yeah.
What happened
Yeah.
to the people
Yeah.
afterwards?
Yeah.
It
So.
felt yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
it was both a forced and half-assed ending to me. That's the
Yeah.
part that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about the shards. Okay, so basically there's 7 shards. A lot of them don't count because there are no references to some of those shards. They were just like,
Yeah,
oh, go here and get the shard. That's it.
yeah,
So let's go with John Hughes's stuff. I'm a fan of some of the movies, of course, but I
yeah.
didn't really care a whole lot about.
They really focused on that a long time, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a big segment of just John Hughes stuff.
All the
Um,
references.
yeah, and yeah, I appreciate some of the nods here and there where we don't know about RDJ, Robert Downey Jr.
Uh-huh.
supposedly supposed to be in the movie as the main lead, uh, or not main lead, but like
And
main male lead. Um, yeah.
yeah, and I'll pause there so for people that don't know who John Hughes is or aren't familiar with him, he is pretty much responsible for a lot of iconic movies in the 80s and
Mhm.
early 90s.
Yeah, he's a
Uh,
big deal. for,
Yeah,
you know.
16 Candles, National Lampoon's Vacation, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone. I think he also did. Let me confirm here. Didn't he do Groundhog's Day? Or am I? Can't find it there. I'm pretty sure he did Groundhog's Day, but I could be wrong.
Uncle Buck. He also
Uncle
did
Buck,
Uncle
yeah,
Buck.
that one.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. He did create a lot, but at the same time, it's a lot of focus.
Hmm. 16 Candles was an inspiration to Groundhog's Day, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that was the connection there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was a lot of time there, and I felt like it was such.
Such a drag. I was
It
like, wow,
was such a
this. I
drag.
was
Like they
like,
were
this is
really,
gonna be a very short section. No,
they were
it
they
dragged on.
all they were doing was following the characters. They weren't
Hmm.
even really interacting. That's the part
No,
that bugged
no,
me.
yeah.
Uh, up until Artemis finally chopped off somebody's head.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like the actual action happened and was like maybe half a chapter. Like that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
resolved
yeah,
it.
yeah. So, anyways, we're totally gonna skip all that because it's all like, whatever. But I didn't really enjoy that part. Same thing with Prince. I like Prince's music. I
Oh,
it
that was such a long chapter,
Yeah.
long section too. Like it's
Hmm.
you had two chapters of them rushing through the planet that is created for Prince
Yeah.
to
So
collect items. But
yeah.
even then, they felt rushed because they were literally running. Like there was a part where they said, like, we're running down this alley or this room or whatever," and then all of a sudden H tells us to stop and wait here. She runs over, slashes Prince's motorcycle tires, and makes a hole in the gas tank, and then runs off. I'm like, wow, okay, so you're just running, you're just speed running through this planet then.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Um, yeah. The only thing I appreciated was, the I think it was the second shard, that he got was, uh, I think it was the first lady,
Oh,
video game designer,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the ninja game.
The princess that got demoted to a prince.
Yeah, I think that's the only part that I
Ninja
really
princess.
liked. Yeah.
Ninja princess. Yeah, I heard it was.
That was the only shard that I liked, and then the other one was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Man, you have to be a really big Lord of the Rings geek in order to really go through this
But see,
part.
that one I felt delivered better though, because
Hmm.
again, even though majority, I think a full chapter was that talking about their situation they're in, and Percival reading cliff notes on Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah,
Once they got to the action, like that paid off. It
yeah,
was
it was
really
good. It was
detailed. They
epic.
they yeah, it was epic. It was a good fight.
Hmm.
Uh,
See, I
Artemis
wanted
making
that
Supergirl.
instead of
Yes.
Prince and John Hughes' movies.
Or yeah, like I feel like those are stretched out longer than they had to be. Like it had a different pace than the first book had. The
Hmm.
first book I felt had it was really rapid.
Hmm.
Um,
It was a better
even the
flow.
longest chapter, yeah, it was a better flow to it. It was like each egg and gate had I felt like an even amount of time. This one I felt like they really dragged on the first two eggs or first three shards, to say, and then the last two it was just quick.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I felt like, it should have been, I think, more. I think there should be a bigger audience, to beta read it, to,
Yeah.
cold read it, because, this being an international book that has been translated so many languages,
Mm-hmm.
especially the first one, because those were like the most popular titles that is famous worldwide.
Yeah.
This one, for example, yeah, John Hughes movies have been around the world, but I don't think those have a bigger impact as the other, stuff that was in the first book. A good
Yeah.
example would be like in Japan, are they big fans of John Hughes's movies? Maybe like Home Alone and
Are
stuff.
they a fan
Yeah,
of Prince?
I know there's a big fan base for Prince in Japan. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
um, and I guess the ninja thing was kind of big, popularity thing in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Shards, some of the stuff we didn't really care about, but yeah, it kind of got us going in the right direction in
Yeah.
enjoying the adventure of this whole thing. But yeah, it could have been handled a little bit better with other
Pacing could have been.
references. Dude, there was one page alone that had like 50 references.
Oh, that was early on, right?
Yeah, dude, I was like,
Yeah,
what the heck is
I know.
this? It's
No,
crazy.
that I think it was like it had to be either the second or the third chapter because I remember reading that
Hmm.
thinking they're not gonna make a second movie just because of this stuff.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's pushing it. He's really pushing it.
Yeah.
Um, Prince is the other one I told you like that one. There's no way they're gonna be able to make a movie with Prince
Mm-mm.
because his estate is so well protected. Like
Mm-hmm.
after the Super Bowl after he died, where they wanted to do a halftime show in his honor, the 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 state didn't want to do it. They didn't want to give him the permission until like the last second. I'm like, something that was in his honor they didn't want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine a part in a book where they're yes they have a character that has a very loving memory of Prince and had a very deep connection, but for the most part the other characters were kind of making fun of Prince,
Mm-hmm.
and even the battle there is kind of cartoony, like it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So like definitely don't see them doing this with Prince.
No,
Maybe
of
another pop
course
star or
not.
something, but
Yeah.
maybe some Britney Spears thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like stuff like that. There's no way they're getting the rights to that.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I enjoyed the book, but if people would ask me like, "Oh, is this worth reading?" I would just tell them, just go watch Sword Art Online. It's the exact same thing here.
They compared it in the freaking
I
book.
know it's funny. I was reading that
That's
part. I was
the
like, Joy, this is basically
yeah,
Sword Art Online, and they
and
referenced it too in here.
and they admitted it. They
Yeah.
admitted it. They said this is the scenario when Anorak showed up and he says like I know you humans how you react. I've seen those animes. I've seen Sword Art Online. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah. Man, it's the
Um,
exact same thing. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, if you were going to rate this book, what would you rate it?
I say it's a 3. It's not way up there. It's not
It's
a great novel. It's just a
I'll
fun
put it
novel
up
to
as
read.
Ready Player One was you know, literary work. I would give it a B plus.
Hmm.
Just the fun, it would bump it up to an A minus.
Hmm.
This one was like a C plus.
Yeah. This one's a
Yeah.
3. I'd say Ready Player One itself was like probably 3.75 for my book.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm. Out of 5.
that still puts it in a C.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. Well, if people want to keep us and I don't know. I'm so tired. I'm so burned out. If people want to us from joining the bad AIs, how can do that? I don't know.
You can do that by going to our website at www.the2oc.com and maybe purchase something like a sticker, t-shirt, or a hat. And if there was something that we talked about on the show, or maybe listed in any of our social media accounts, there's a link to go to Amazon and it gives us a little kickback. So that's a good thing.
Yes. You can also follow us on social media at the 2OC on Instagram, Facebook, and as Anton mentioned on Twitter. You can send us an email to mail at the 2OC. Mail at the 2OC.com. And also don't forget to give us a thumbs up or 5 stars on whatever podcatcher app you're listening to us on, preferably on Apple Podcast.
Today's podcast is also brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/the2oc. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can use it on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or whatever you have there. And of course, this week we're recommending, if you really want to read it, you don't have to, that would be Ready Player 2. It's voiced and narrated by Will Wheaton himself, the same as the first book. So if you're a big Will Wheaton fan and love his voice acting, he's very good in this one too.
Will Wheaton.
Mm-hmm.
I also throw another recommendation in there that I feel handled this type of content better. Actually, I think it's a combination now. From one of my favorite authors, David Simpson. He did a post-human series. It's 4 books, and it looks like it's an Audible for 1 credit. So the post-human omnibus. You get 4 books: the subhuman, post-human, transhuman, and human plus.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I mean that's a great deal right there. 20, almost 25 hours of content for 1 credit. Do it.
All right, so let's wrap it up, dude.
All right, Anton. For the 2OC, I'm Al Flores.
And I'm Anton Duong. See you guys.
See you guys. My eyes and body are tired.
Yeah, it's 2-hour episode.
No, my eyes and brain are tired from reading, like pretty much speed reading the last 2.5 days.
Yeah. I tried to finish the book. I got to the last chapter, and I didn't read it for like 3 days. Yeah, I just finished the book today, this morning. So.
Yeah, I did the first like 3 chapters when I first got the book, and then I just kept getting distracted, and then finally when I realized, oh crap, we record this weekend, I should probably finish the damn book.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell Carl skip it.
Yeah. I really think Carl would be really pissed off reading this.
Yeah. All right, dude. I am out.
See you, dude. Have a good night.